How should I introduce you guys?
I don't know.
Should I introduce you guys? Do you guys want to introduce yourselves? You want to tell them what the dealio is?
You should let her take it away.
I mean, I don't know. I guess we can just introduce ourselves.
Oh, okay.
No. I feel like you should do it.
She introduced me.
You should.
Okay,
do it.
got you.
You should do it.
We'll do it like that. Okay.
Y'all know each other.
Just so you know, I'm already rolling. I've been rolling. You see that?
I know. That's
you see
why
the setup?
But that's why I was going with the flow.
I brought
Come on,
Jen
we're talking
from Brooklyn.
to seasoned people here, right? Some vets.
Yo, that's what I've been telling people. I've been doing this podcast, Jen. I'm like, yo, I don't know if I could talk to everybody because not everybody knows how to have a conversation. Like, people be interesting, and then you put a microphone in front of them, they're like,
they freeze up.
Exactly. I knew I didn't have to worry about that.
Just like a lot of these artists out here. Right?
There's artists out here?
I went, shots.
I haven't seen an artist in like years.
It's wild, bro. Like, they have these amazing songs. Okay, quote unquote. But then when they hit the stage, it's literally just like nothing. This is why A&Rs are so important and they still need to be relevant in the music industry because these artists need artist development. It's not just creating a banger just off of algorithms, right? You need to like create artistry, teach them how to hit the stage, teach them how to talk, how to engage, and it's just wild. It's wild. Sorry, went off on a tangent.
Nah, go crazy.
No, I was doing that for a couple of artists, and I mean, it's just amazing. They will pay me a lot of money.
It drives me nuts. No, shouts out to all the A&Rs. Like, you're very much needed in this industry because clearly it's
in the studio, but on the stage.
On the stage, and that's where all the bread and butter comes from. You just don't make money off of albums and clicks. You make off albums, tour dates, and tours.
Facts.
Right? So, like, if you can't sell out a tour and perform well, like...
You can't dance, why are you singing?
Or just even rapping and shit. Like, a lot of these artists just saying, like, there's... You know what I'm talking about.
It's gonna be
nothing.
All AI artists in, like, the next couple years. I'm putting my money out there. I feel like these labels are gonna be like, we just need AI because they don't talk back and we keep all the money.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, essentially, some of these artists are like that right now, right? They're literally robotic. No, I'm being for real.
It's true.
And I say that with the utmost love and just genuineness because they do need development. And if you're really trying to be a star out here, like, you really need to develop these parts of you.
I'm gonna put it like this. If you're signed to a major label and you're not at like the top of that major label, there's a good chance that you kind of suck.
I'm
just saying.
On the sidelines.
A good chance you're there because you're making the money.
Yeah.
Not because you're talented.
Yeah. And it's because also of your following and how many clicks you have and all these other things, but that doesn't translate to true talent. So.
I'm going to tell you the truth. I went viral a bunch of times and nobody ever gave me a shitty deal this time.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But anyway, sorry. That's not how we want to start this off.
Nah, we going to set it off just like that. Jen from Bklyn is in the building and she's not holding back.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's been a minute, Mike. Me and Mike would just talk while all of us were talking offline how strange this feels to be like back on the mic. It really does.
She put the headphones on.
I was like, oh,
shit. It was
it was. It really was. It just took me straight back to when, I had my show and all that. But just for me, it's about just talking to the people. That's what I miss most. I don't know about you. Like, that's what I love most about my show. Just being able to connect with New Yorkers, just to tri-state and just see what the vibes are. You know what I mean? But this feels good. This feels good.
It's great, right?
Thanks for having me, though.
Nah, thanks for coming.
One time for Mike.
Big up to you. Thank you. And you brought a friend. You got a guest with us. A business partner.
Yes, my sister, not just a business partner, my sister, my soul sis, my right hand, left hand, all hands. We're just an amazing woman who is so deserving of everything that's coming her way, has come her way, and literally needs to be at the seat of every Fortune 500 company. If not at the top, I'm at the head of the seat. So at the table. But no, I'm not saying that just because she's close to me, but just who she is as a person. She's just brilliant in terms of just strategy and business. And so we're
Yeah, y'all working on some cool stuff. I didn't even know. I told Jen, I'm like, don't tell me anything about what's happening because I want to hear it first here. Yeah. So I have no idea what you guys are even working on, but I know just off the energy that you brought through the door, it's amazing.
Oh, man.
Whatever it is, I know it's going to smash.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we hope, no, it is. We have to speak that, manifest that.
Will.
We manifest.
It's already happening.
Yes.
And not only that, like,
let me so close to the mic.
Oh, okay. And I'm getting my little crash course into speaking to the mic.
You're doing great.
Thank you very much. It's just amazing because we've always been behind the scenes. And I think like it was so important for us to talk about our journeys, the transitioning, how we're able to get a network that we have and also looking to share the opportunities with people, especially those who have been so supportive of us. This is, like I said, actually my first podcast to actually do an interview. Jen talked thank you. She talked very highly of you. I mean,
yes.
What you see is what you get, right? I mean, with all the respect, I could talk to a crackhead and I could talk to a CEO of a company. I could talk to billionaires and I could talk to people, just security guards. It doesn't matter. We're from Brooklyn. My family's not wealthy, so I'm not coming from money. I know how to make money. So, you had to work your way up. And I feel like Jen and I really wanted to just put it out there. Because it's so amazing, especially for inspiration. A lot of people are really either struggling with where they're at, where they want to be. It's not a quick fix. And I think that's why Jen really thought highly of you.
Oh, thank you.
For who you are. And she was like, yo, we got to do this in the podcast. I'm like, a podcast? She's like, yes, you got to come out. Yeah, this is like my yin and my yang, peanut butter and jelly. Jamaicans say rice and peas. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like when you hear us speak, you're gonna see like the growth. You're gonna see like, oh my goodness, and like you didn't know anything about us. We didn't know too much about. Well, we knew about you, but then you mentioned some other things. So I was like, okay. So when you hear what we're doing, you're gonna see why it's such great synergy.
I mean, I just love the fact that you said it's like I could talk to somebody that's in the streets. Like literally, I could talk to a crackhead or I could talk to a Fortune 500 CEO. Like I think that's the real thing that determines whether you're gonna go far or whether it's gonna be a short-lived journey. Because not everybody understands, the grassroots ground level, and not everybody understands the top penthouse office, and you have to be able to run the whole building when you're running a business, So
1,000%.
It's important. Yeah, it's really important. And the fact that I don't even know what the business is about, but I know that it's considering such a wide range of people just off rip.
Yeah.
I think it's got to be something incredible.
Oh yeah, it sure is. So I feel like okay, well go ahead.
Well, no, tell me what is the business? Or it doesn't even sound like it's necessarily just about a business. It sounds like y'all are doing something that's really about to be like something real personal, more personal than business.
Absolutely. It's really a mission in so many ways. Like for me, it's personally, I mean, on the personal front, right? Just showing the story of perseverance, right?
I feel that.
And not giving up when all the walls are crashing in on you. You know what I mean? And it's also to show people just the power of reinvention, because that's how you have longevity in the business, right? That's what people don't understand. If you stick with the same route, the same system for a long time, it's just not going to work, because guess what? People evolve. Things evolve, and you have to evolve with the times.
Yes, you do.
And so for me, a lot of this is just about an evolution of me as a person, from who I was, right, to who I am now, because who Jen was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, even 4 years ago is not the same Jen now. I went through a very, very, very spiritual journey, very spiritual journey. And it really opened me up to just a lot of things, a lot of perspective, looking at myself, who I am as a person as well, because we like to point the finger a lot, like it's you. But there's a lot of times it's you.
Gotta be held accountable.
You gotta hold account for yourself. And so that's a lot of things that I had to work on internally. Like I can speak openly about this because I mean I don't have my spirituality, that. On my gram, I don't know that. So I'm very open about it. But, I really went into about 1.5 years of true isolation, like the Tibetan monks, you know what I'm talking about? Like for real, you know what I'm talking about?
Just quiet, like, and be with the thoughts
in the mountains type shit, like quiet, no TV, no nothing like that. Like that's how I was healing on my own in my apartment.
Like not for nothing, in just music in general, because we're talking about development like early on. But I think that it's funny that there's no development across the board. It's not just for the artists, but like a lot of times I think you get stuck in this industry and it could be very like tunnel vision in as far as like wanting to achieve goals, but there's never anybody that really comes along and it's like, you good personally? Like, I know you're killing it with the job. You're doing great with work, but like what's driving this and is it healthy? You know?
Mental health is so important.
The most
important because that's what drives you and your body.
Oh my God.
Without that, you can't function, right? So emotional stability is so detrimental when you're in high moving industries like we're in, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have that stability, then you're really going to fall apart. So I think I know that I had to go through this healing to get to this point now, to now embark on this journey for what we're about to do. Because what we're about to do is some big shit. For real.
I love it.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, pumped.
For real, for real. Yeah.
Let's go, Jen.
So the shit we're about to do, right? Old Jen could not have been able to handle it. In the environment she was in, with the people she was surrounded by, and the mindset that she had. But the new Jen, not new, because it's still me, the evolved Jen,
well said,
can do it. So for me, Triple S Entertainment, you'll know the name forever, ever, ever, ever. Even after we transition, we're gone, you'll know Triple S forever, ever, ever. But for me right now, it's just about setting these goals, inspiring people out there, and showing a story of literally rags to riches.
Straight up.
Because a lot of the times, too, I'll speak for me, you see an Asian girl, right? Or Asian woman, you think, unfortunately, with all the movies they have about, you think they're kind of like established, they got money, or like they're comfortable and all that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, that's not the childhood that I was raised in. I grew up broke.
I've delivered pizzas to your house. I know.
But that's not where true story. That's not my house though. That's not where I grew up. But
that was somewhere along the way.
Me and Mike are so close that when he used to work at the pizza shop near my sister's house in Bklyn.
Shout out to Michael's Avenue R.
Yeah, he used to drop off pizzas for me. And he's like, yo, you need pizzas? I'm like, hell fucking yeah. I'd be like, you got pizzas? Like, it's always love.
Mad funny.
Yeah, it was mad. I love that.
I mean, I love it. I love everything.
But so I mean, to circle back and say that like it's just about showing people too also the different sides of culture, right?
Yeah.
For Asians, you see like Crazy Rich Asians, you see like these stereotypical kind of like communities and stuff. But I'm Southeast Asian, so my communities have dealt with a lot of struggle. We don't have that silver spoon. You know what I'm saying? I was living off food stamps and shit like that for dumb long. Like apartment buildings where there was no hot water, you had to boil it, or like banging on the pipes for shit, or like you turn on the lights and roaches scatter all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of living.
I know Asians either are super hardworking and dedicated and running a business like 50 hours a week, like 50 hours a day, like all day, every day.
Yeah.
Or they have a ton of money. Like I feel like there's no in between. Like
that's a perception.
Yeah. That's what it was. And so for me, like I was on the other end of the spectrum, right? So that's why we're going off on a tangent.
Well, I think the mentality shift is like, because when I say there's no in between, it's like the second somebody figures it out, it's like they own the business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
You'd be like, I thought you just worked here. Nah, I own 6 of these.
Absolutely. And that's why I respect the shit out of my parents, because, they came in from Vietnam, right, off a fucking boat, no money, like a $10 in their pocket, not knowing the motherfucking language, right? The country just got freaking bombed. You know what I'm saying? And now they're here trying to make a living. You know what I mean? And a lot of people here, even living here, growing up here, have not even created a life for themselves. Yeah. For my parents to go from that to able to own like a couple of businesses and stuff like that was very inspiring to me. So for me, this was a long answer, I'm sorry, but it's just a culmination of all of that.
There's no commercials here, don't worry. We don't have to get to break.
Yeah, but we get some sponsors.
Yeah, you already know. It's just, a culmination and just showing just the different sides of different people. For me, just, again, inspiration, making money, absolutely. And just provide and giving back too. So yeah, that's the long answer. Sorry.
Listen, it's amazing because when I hear Jen speak, like I used to manage Jen.
Really?
Yeah. So it was actually a mutual friend, that introduced me to Jen, and it was like, okay. And then from the time that I met her, I just felt like an instant connection. So from the first time I told her there's going to be a lot of great things that are happening, more things are going to happen. You have so much more in you, that you need to pull it out. And she was looking at me like, wow. And I think a lot of that was because sometimes if you're in an atmosphere where you're not appreciated and you're just tolerated, a lot of the times it can really suppress your gifts, make you feel like you're not able to do certain things because they only want to minimize your gifts.
Yeah,
but when you're around people who truly support you and see more about you, they encourage you. So a lot of the times when I'm working with either clients, whether it's athletes, the transition from on the field to off the field, or on the court, off the court, corporations, a lot of the times I'm behind them, like pushing them because I could see that. That's what a visionary do. So this is why, me having the company Triple SSS Entertainment LLC, it started off as a management company because I used to perform, and then I realized like with females, a lot of people who wanted to manage me wanted to manage my pum pum. You know what pum pum is?
Yeah.
So I used to be like, wow. So then I was
It's
like,
sketchy out there.
No,
so I
it
was
is.
like, you know what? Let me have my own management company. So I will switch and pretend to have a different voice. Hi, how are you? That's my management voice, and represent myself. And then I realized that a lot of people was really looking for a credible company that they could trust, just handle the business without even feeling like they're going to be compromised. So I've been doing that. I was doing that for a while, and then it spread from entertainment into TV, film, a couple of other things as well. And then as time goes by, we started to do TV and film production because I was able to get funding, have investors, or like my lawyers, they work with an extensive amount of well-known people in the film industry, entertainment industry. So that also empowered me because they say your network is your net.
Straight up.
So a lot of the times I was around people and just really didn't know who they were. Like if I'm with you, around you, I'm going to vibe with you. I'm not going to be like, oh, what do you do? How are you doing?
Yeah.
Because then I'm going to start being around you for who you are. So a lot of my relationships are very generic. And then as time go by, it started to really grow extensively. So my background, I have over 20 years of marketing and advertisement for major brands like, all right, I'm going to say it, like Sprint, Boost, Seminole Gaming, Capital One, Lego. I work with a lot of the different brands. So I already had that management, that marketing and advertisement deal experience. So then I started to bring that into what I wanted to do with the company. So Jen and I have such a great, unique chemistry. Like when she talk about spirituality is so important because spirit is really when you feel. Like, you come in, they talk about good energy, good vibes. Like, oh my God, you came in, it was like really positive energy. Because that's your aura, that's your spirit. I believe that everybody should have that in every relationship dealing with business. If something don't feel right, that's your tuition. I don't care how much money it is for a check. All money is not good money. So there's been times when I'm like, I don't really want to work with this person. I couldn't really get it on, but it was something about that individual. And then majority of the times it ended up being correct, either that they're trying to scam or they lied about, the business that they were doing or saying they're representing. So a lot of the times you really have to follow your tuition. And I feel like the transitioning that Jen has, I told Jen she's a butterfly. I call her a butterfly.
She does.
I would say, hey, butterfly. Very rarely I call her Jen. I say, hey, butterfly. And she's like, why? Because, when you transition, you're like, a cocoon, and then you spend some time.
Let
and then
the swag blossom.
Yeah, and then you have your wings. And then I've seen her, like, people say you could be a jack of all trade and master of none. I've literally seen when Jen puts her mind to do something, she gets it done. That's how focused she is. And for me, I feel like, I always say she's like my little daughter, my little daughter sister, but I feel like I see so much so much growth in her. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. So she's ready now. I mean, she's always been ready, but I know, like, with her growing and evolving, she's definitely ready for what we're about to tell you. And what we're about to tell you is this. Drum roll.
Oh, you got the horns.
I got the horns. I got them.
Fire. Fire.
So Triple S Entertainment is now a consulting company. And the reason why we're a consultant is because we have so much subdivisions now of different services that we're able to provide. We have built an extensive relationship with numerous investors.
Hey,
Bang, bang, bang,
what's
bang.
up? Need some,
Okay.
need some money? Need some money?
Hey,
I got money. You need some money?
And so with the investors that we have now, I feel like this is time now because a lot of the time people need money or they want money.
Yeah.
We're the bridge. People trust us.
Yeah.
So we have corporations. We have billionaires that want projects, whether it's in TV and film industry.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta remember to put the mic here. I'll put the mic here.
The mic there.
TV and film industry, real estate.
Hey.
Bang, bang. Humanitarian.
Love real estate.
Pretty much corporations now. So now we're like the money people. We're like the banks. You know, if people are looking for certain projects or investors are looking to have a particular project that they want to do, they'll come to us now. So we have our lawyers that definitely stairways the entire project, the process, but it depends. But for right now, this is pretty much what it is. And the range, I don't know, am I allowed to say that? Because I don't want to be targeted. Can we say that?
I mean, that's on you, CEO. That's what you want to do.
I mean, okay.
Who's targeting you guys?
I'm just saying, no one's targeting us, but when you put it out there.
Nah, I feel you. People get their energy, that juju.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about it is this, right? We are in a position where we could do investments, the minimum, 5 million.
Okay.
To the maximum
5 billion. All right.
Right now, but I don't want to put that out there yet.
I got you.
Now, the reason why we could do that is because the different investors, they have a certain appetite, which the criteria is what they're looking for. And we are in that position now that we can start vetting out, looking to see what projects we feel is a good fit.
That's dope.
And be able to do that. The reason why it took us a little while to get that, like what Jen was saying, we had to reinvent ourselves and really just get the mind right, get the spirit right, because you want to attract these businesses. A lot of the times we've been in positions, like what Jen was saying, I'm from Brooklyn, but my family is from Trinidad and Venezuela, so you'll hear an accent. From Flatbush, my family is not rich. I'm the first in my family to, have a house. We have an office on Wall Street, 30 Wall Street. We've been there for like maybe 10 plus years, grinding. I give back to the homeless like 15 times a year out of my own pocket. I go right in East New York or Brownsville in my Jeep. I cook the food. I give back. I believe in giving back. I believe in sharing the blessings because it comes back. I do a lot for kids that, either a lot less fortunate. I try to get either celebrities. Jen has done it extensively where we just go in some of these shelters and just try to really give back to kids and just speak to them. Not so much, just reminding them about their worth and their value.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, we could get so caught up in how we're raised and our circumstances and maybe what our family don't have versus what we see. And we have to remember, we were all kids. So going to school is now it's a little bit more harder, right? Because it's all a fashion. You got to be social media. You got to be this, you got to be that. So,
they living on the phones right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you have some kids, which I'm very big on, I don't like bullying. I don't like when kids are being bullied. So there's times I did it in certain schools for no bullying. I'll have like either performances or people come out and do that. And then I'll get like certain sponsors, Little Caesars or whoever to come do that. But it's a big turnaround rate because, they have that no snitching. But when you have like someone who's being hurt and they want to kill themselves, then some people who don't say anything, they start to feel guilty because they knew they could have done something. Because that's one of their peers, right? So sometimes we don't really know the extent, but I'm very big with kids. Like I love kids. Like if you had kids, I'm gonna be their godmother. I'm like the United Nations godmother.
You're not for nothing. Even the bullies, I feel like the bullies are the ones that's hurting the most sometimes.
They are.
A lot of people don't realize that, but like somebody who might be picking on you, they might be doing that because somebody picking on them at home.
Yeah.
Or you never know.
It's absolutely unhealed childhood trauma.
For real.
Mostly a lot of adult issues come from unhealed childhood traumas. And if you don't heal those wounds, you're going to start projecting them onto other people and other situations.
Absolutely.
So that's very important for, again, it goes back to mental health, right? And making sure you're okay.
I love too what she said a little earlier about like just when you were talking about the networking and like trusting your gut in a sense, because I hate the word networking sometimes because I think people use it so superficially and like, oh, like this person runs this or they have this title, so I need to connect with them. Yeah. And like I try to stress to people how important it is to just like my ex-girlfriend is happily married right now and I'm very happy for them. You know what I mean? Because it's like that relationship didn't make sense for me. Right. I found somebody who did make sense for me, who maybe their old relationship didn't make sense. So not every relationship is necessarily a relationship for you. That's for business partners, for friendships.
Absolutely.
You know, just because someone's successful in a business doesn't mean that you guys are going to be successful together.
Absolutely.
It really, you know, but I think through exploring things and by being open to, you know, just talking to as many people as you can and really gravitating to who you could find yourself, you know? Like these kids with this social media, they like, I want to be like this person. Come to find out you probably wouldn't even get along with that person if y'all was in a room.
And a lot of social media is fake.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you, it's really a front sometimes. You think someone's living the life, but they're really not. Like, think about it. Nothing here, but like, I could be like, holding a stack of money right now, right? I'm like in front of a boat outside and you would think it's like my boat, right?
That's true.
You could just be like about to hit the seas, but it's really not. You literally just walked over to the side of the water right here and just took a picture with the boat. You know what I mean? So
it's very misleading.
It's very misleading. And so that's why it's so important for people and kids nowadays just to have their own identity, you know, and not be afraid to be yourself and just own who you are and stop trying to be like other people and imitate other people. Like there's just it's so special when people remain true to who they are. And I say all this to say, like going back to you about intuition, the fact that like I've turned down so many offers throughout my career to be on TV, to be in like mad random shit for money and for fame. Yeah. But it just didn't sit with my soul and my spirit. Right. And I said, nah, I'm not going to change who I am or be a slave to the money. Like that's not, and fame. That's not what I'm about.
And you're gonna get money anyway. It's like
the right way.
I like how you mentioned too, like if people invest, there's all these different outlets. Cause I think especially right now, it's like a time where people don't know where to put their money or what to do with it. And a lot of times the opportunity of like where to put your money just takes away the say you have in your money.
True.
You know, you put it into something and then they spend it however. Like in real estate, we have what's called like REITs. So you could give your money to like a REIT and they could just diversify it, but you don't know if they buying cardboard boxes or mansions or and you just like, all right, well, I guess
for the best,
yeah, but your money could go towards something horrible without you even knowing it.
Absolutely.
You get a return off the back of whatever.
Facts. And that's why at Triple S, like we vet out everyone that comes our way. Not everyone gets to tap into our network. We are very selective. It is a rigorous process.
We have to be
rigorous.
So how does that work? Like if I came in, right, I said I have $1 million. I want to give you guys $1 million. I believe in helping up and coming artists. I want to see people doing more, like I want to see things on film and my money go towards things I could like really take in.
Okay. So let's say you have $1 million. One of the first things that we do is
I have $1 million.
Well, you already said it, y'all.
Listen, you already know what it is.
She said, let's say. I'm just saying.
We already know what it is.
He says,
we already know what it is. Oh, trust. No, we don't talk. We don't talk.
So let's say
talk. This is big.
I like talking a lot of shit these days. I'm not a bully.
You know what? You should.
As you should.
I'm not a bully.
Be
but
proud.
I love talking some shit.
You know why you should? Because you know where you were, you know where you came from, and you know where you're going.
Facts.
A lot of the times people don't know what we have to go through the behind the scenes to get where we're at. A lot of the times people don't understand, like, we might as well just say it. Racism is real.
Yeah, facts.
Sexism is real.
Everything.
You know, so a lot of the times, you know, sometimes you got to work harder just because of the skin color. Yeah. You know, sometimes you got to work harder because it's like they may doubt, but then it's like, oh, wow, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So first impression is the really, you know, is the only impression, you know. So usually when I'm dealing with clients or dealing with investors or dealing with a project, I don't half step. I come really hard. I come correct. You know, but at the same time, I'm very cordial. So it's my responsibility to make sure that you feel that you could trust me. And then also I'm catering to you because I wouldn't just look at you as a client. I have to look at you, okay, as a relationship because this is what it is. So why should I just treat you with any disrespect or disregards for your vision? It's my job to hear your vision, your intentions. What are the projects you're looking for that you want to invest? And then when that happens, then then I consult my
She did this at Hot 97 too.
Yeah, she does that, Every one time,
gotta make sure we hear
a little pivot.
we gotta
Every one time when I
hear
went to Hot
what you're
97 for the
saying.
first time to do an interview, she's like, "S." I was like, "What's that?" She's like,
Talking to the mic.
So she's like this. So that means
We're traumatized.
yeah. So because I'm so accustomed, talking in my zone. So I'm like, okay, yes, this is a production. Hi, ladies and gentlemen, how are you? But
now you keep the energy flowing though from because you think about it, the person who's giving you the money, they spent time earning that money, and there's an energy attached to it that now is getting transferred.
For sure.
Yeah. So I mean, the most important thing is that I show the credibility, meaning like the lawyers, our law team. That's very important. And then you can see their track record of some of the companies and people who they work with, and then the investors that we have. And then if you tell me there's certain projects, then what I do is I start the vetting because now I already found out what it is that your interest is. Now we start to go into our network. We start to let them know, hey, we have a client, we have a potential investor that wants to do this, do this, do this, do this. Okay. Once we find the projects, then we start talking numbers because by that time we will know how much, if you're going to put your entire investment in that or we're going to spread it out.
Gotcha.
So they may have a movie deal that may mean me 50 million. And then you say, okay, you know what? Let me see what the movie's about. Then I have to give you a different proposal for what your returns is going to be. Right. And then let's say if it's energy or if it's real estate or depend if it's technology, depends on what it is that you want. So with the time that Jen was saying that we took off for a little while just to reinvent ourselves, this was us working behind the scenes. And I believe in the power of working in silence, moving.
Hell yeah.
You have to move
Absolutely.
in silence. I'm not the type of person to say, oh my God, look at this.
I know, I hate that shit. I can't stand that
you
shit.
Don't know where we had it.
It's tough,
people
though.
make announcements just to make announcements.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
That works
saying?
for
I've done it. I'm gonna hold myself accountable.
No, of course.
It never works out.
It never does it. And
Sorry, go ahead.
No. It's I just feel people when they just make announcements just to make announcements, just to make a make a grandiose.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times there's no structure or planning behind that, right? So you can have a great announcement or a great dream, but if you don't put those steps into action, it's just going to remain that. It's a dud, right?
Stale quick.
Absolutely. So before you make announcements, make sure there's a plan behind it and how you're going to attain said announcement. You know what I'm saying?
And to get that plan, holler at Triple SSS
Entertainment. Now we're here, and aside from investments and shit, we're doing our own projects too and all that. There's a lot of it. We can?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Well, you gotta finish taking me through this. So I have $1 million.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I want to know. Because I feel like people are gonna watch this, and like I said, there's no place to put money. My money just kind of sits and gets a little bit of interest.
Yeah,
but I'm like, do I want to buy stock? I see the stock getting losing.
Yeah.
I can't. It's hard to buy real estate. I can buy real estate, but not at these interest rates. It's crazy.
No, yes, it's and also development deals. So we have been in a really great position that we can do a lot of development deals, not just here in the U.S. but also out of the country. So sometimes New York is so saturated with real estate. I mean, every little naked little plot, everyone's
everything
skinny buildings going up.
Can I put a food truck there?
Oh my goodness, it's amazing. So we have ventured out and we've been getting a lot of proposals from different parts of the states, from Maryland, Atlanta, Dallas, California, and also out of the country as well.
Wow.
So we have different portfolios with that. So we have development teams, architects. We have a lot of partnerships. So if it's real estate, that's something you and I, all of us, we talk about for sure, because you had dropped a little gem earlier on, and I was like, what? Does he know we're here? She's like, no. I'm like, wait a minute. So I believe in divine intervention. Sometimes you don't know.
You never know.
What a person is doing. But when you see a connection, I look at that as a sign okay, all right. Because you could have done anything, right? But then when you started mentioning certain things, I was like, okay, then there's some good synergy there. So, and then once we do that, we'll have a lot of meetings. We'll talk. You end up meeting the rest of the team. Our job is to make sure that you feel comfortable in whichever investment opportunity that suits you. And then depending if it's 1 or 2, we'll be able to break down all the percentages, what you'll get in your returns. We'll let you know about the project. If it's like a TV and film project, we'll keep you posted like on the scheduling when it's finished, what are the returns going to be. Because now with the TV and film, remember before with COVID, there wasn't really a lot of screens that was available.
Yeah.
So that's how we were able to make more incentive, like ROI, return on investments for screens. So now we're utilizing a lot of digital platforms, for distribution. And there's a lot of creative ways, which I cannot say. Jen and I had came up with that gives another platform for investors to maximize on their ROI. So you have to be creative. And this is why I love her too, because she's very creative when it comes to digital content. I'm very creative when it comes to market and advertisement. So a lot of the times you got to really think out of the box. We can't do the same thing what everybody else is doing.
Right.
So no matter how you look at it, it is very competitive. But what happens is when you're a creator and you can always think, you always come up with different ideas, incentives. You got to create opportunities, not just opportunities like live entertainment, but also opportunities for strategic investments.
Yeah.
Right. You got to be very savvy with that because, most investments, they have the regular terms, what they're looking to get. But then depending on the project now, you want to show them, okay, this is longevity, depending on what it is. So that's where the customized creative, return on investments comes into place. So it's customized depending on the investor, on their needs, and as well as the project that we're going to marry the two.
Gotcha. So you complementing like the money with the vision, and
that's why our partnership, our business relationship, and just our friendship in general, like it works out so well because most successful businesses have 2 people at the head, right? So one of them is either the creative visual person. The second person is the strategic, brilliant, genius mind, right? And between her and I, we have that. That's why we balance each other out so well. I bring the creativity and visuals. She brings her fucking genius mind when it comes to strategy, right? And we come together, and that's why this just works out so well and has been working out so well.
Yes, it has.
Because that's honestly the recipe for success for any business, right? If you bring people on.
Yeah, and I just love that you guys share like a similar mentality. Like it seems like not all investors or not all money is good money, you know?
No, absolutely.
It seems like to be selective and be able to work on things that are from a place of passion.
And unfortunately, some people are just want to get rich so fast, they'll take on anything. That's when they fall apart, right?
Exactly.
That's when we have to respectfully decline.
Yeah.
Because it's good to have a partnership with investors and also projects. But one thing I don't like, and I know it comes with the territory, I don't like disrespect. I don't like drama. I don't like headaches. In other words, I don't want anyone that's going to be part of or come into our circle that's going to be very disrespectful. A lot of the times, people who have money, they have egos. She see that. Yes,
it just went dead. Did it not go dead? I stopped hearing her in the mic.
I'm gonna edit.
Make his life
dropping
easier.
gems.
Yeah, make life easy. So a lot of the times, like I'm not going to mention because I have to respect everybody who comes across our platform. But there's moments when there's an opportunity, people who are looking for funding, and you said, okay, maybe we might have an investor or 2 that bites, they'll call you all the time, want to know. That comes to the territory, you give them updates. Hey, maybe there's an investor, maybe not, but then there's that desperation. Does that make sense?
Yes. People are thirsty out here.
Right. Yeah. And then especially when I do my due diligence. So there's times when there's a company, 2 companies, we didn't say, who they are or what industry, but they pretty much lied about their financial backings, how much money they had and how much money they were making quarterly. And it was like, okay, but it doesn't make sense. You ever see when you go to Shark Tank and then they're asking for money and then they start talking about numbers and they're asking for a certain amount of stakes. And it's like, this doesn't make sense. So of course, my lawyers and their team was able to check it out and find out a couple of things. And we was like, listen, can you give us updated? Like, we already gave you this. Like, no, that's not reflecting the current situation.
How'd you buy these for 20 and sell them for 15?
And there's a lot of that.
And they're asking for a certain amount.
They can't make it make sense.
Yeah, so, people have to understand, when you're dealing with money, this is not free money. This is a loan. This is investment, right? People are looking to make a return on investment. We're not going to invest in the company if you're not able to show us what you're doing or what you have. And even if you don't, there are certain instances where, aside from the funding, that we will prepare you. So in other words, there's companies that maybe Jen and I can see the potentials.
Yeah.
And we'll do a deep dive and say, okay, we see the potentials, but are you willing to do this? Are you willing to do that to get prepared, to get packaged? Yeah. Now we could present you to investors. Some companies or some projects are not investment ready. So we provide those services to get the company or get the project prepared if we believe that, okay, there is some potentials. The reason why I say that is because a lot of the times we don't extend that service, only because we have to look at the entire company's team, you know, who are the board members,
who's making decisions,
what's going on. And a lot of the time, if it's chaotic, if your company is already chaotic, I don't know if I want to bring that into our circle.
It's a lot more work,
Right. You know, even though we may believe in you, but you're not really that structured or that ready, right? So there's a lot of kinks maybe that has to get worked out first before we could even decide to get involved.
No, but it's dope that you give the opportunity at all, because, you know, I think investment in general is overall just like a game of risk. You know, the more risk you can take on, maybe the more reward, all the way down from investing in a business or a property to investing in gambling and just completely being full of risk, you know, but I think the way that you're going about it is interesting, because people that might not necessarily be there but are on the cusp, you give them an opportunity to kind of hit that threshold to where they could be a viable business versus just like no to you, yes to you, no to you. Like a lot of banks do is just like, yeah, we'll give you the loan. Good luck. We'll write it off when you lose it.
Right.
You're like, listen, we'll give you a loan.
They already know.
But we need these, we have expectations. And that's great for investors because it really limits the risk.
Yes,
absolutely.
it does. I believe in clear talk leads for clear understanding. You know, and the reason why I can say that is because, you know, people may call me Bougetto, you know, bougie and ghetto. But at the same time, I just feel like I'm going to treat you the way I want to be treated. I'm going to talk to you the way I want to be talked to. I'm going to deal with you the way how I want to be dealt with. I'm giving you money. I want to know what's the expectation. Where's my money going? Okay. I'm going to treat you the same way. That's it. So I'm not going to treat someone different. I'm not going to treat you different. I'm not going to treat, you know, another billionaire different. Notice I said another billionaire.
Yeah.
Right? You know, I'm saying you're a billionaire.
Listen,
right? All right.
One day we're trying to get there.
Yeah, you're gonna be there. You know. So I feel like with Jen and I, a lot of the times when we do go to the meetings,
yeah, what are you looking for in these meetings besides just the financials and like the, you know, the straightforward paperwork adding up? Do you guys like look to see how the partners got together? Like, what are some of the things that you'd vet before deciding you're going to work with a business?
I guess I think S can speak more to that, because I'll be real with you, like
Jen's like, no, I got the vibe, no. I know Jen. Jen's like, I don't like the way they came dressed to this meeting.
It's like, for me, it's definitely absolutely energy, for sure. But also, S is just really fantastic at being the person to go and speak with these people and vet these people out. And so I trust her with my entire life, honestly, to go and even handle what she needs to do in these meetings. So to say that she can speak to that when it comes to vetting out. But we always discuss the conversations afterwards. And normally we think about, okay, what can we provide them? What can they in turn provide us? Is this a viable business that we want to invest in? And also, who is surrounding them? Because just because directly there's no one around them that's causing issues, but indirectly there might be someone that caused issues. And guess what? That's going to come back and reflect on us.
Who you associate with.
Yes, we're going to have to be, you know, responsible for that. So all of that plays a major factor in who we connect with in terms of speaking with people in their meetings, because we can have a fabulous meeting. Like, we met a bunch of people and we thought this fantastic. You know, energy was good, everything. But then when you really start analyzing and breaking down what their business is and what their structure is, their business model is and plan, it just doesn't make sense. And so that's when it's like, yeah, energy's good, but the other side of it you don't have intact. So now that's not right.
Messing up over here.
Right. But this takes time to find businesses and investments that really have both. And a lot of people, again, try to hit the shortcut, right?
Every time, I'm sure.
Yeah. There's someone.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I forgot what we were saying. But
no, you were talking about the people that we.
Yeah. So like that's why, you know, people like to take shortcuts and all that, right? And they fuck themselves over because they just want to get the money and get shit done, and then, you know, it messes up for them. But for us, we're very diligent in terms of just making sure we're, again, vetting the right people, and it is a longer process, but it's more rewarding because you alleviate all the freaking headaches that's going to come down the road. So yeah.
And then not only that, it's so important that when we do have meetings, like I will have, like we'll meet either a place that they feel comfortable. Very rarely I'll let anyone just come to the office at Wall Street unless I know like they pass like the preliminaries, and I'm like, yeah, come on, either in the part of writing contracts or whatever the case is. But there's been a couple of times when we had certain meetings with certain companies, and we understand the product. They let us test it out. We saw this, we saw that. It was great. All right, we got the product out the way. Now let's talk the logistics. Let's talk the money. Very nice. Then they start talking about that, and then it's like, okay, so I'm listening for the confusion. Oops, sorry.
No, you good, you good.
Confusion, anything like that. And I would just do that as an analogy to say to get the product out the way. Now let's talk about the money. And then I start to listen to the tone. For me, I do a lot of listening. Sometimes when people are talking, people overtalk each other or try to get their point across. I do a lot of listening, because when you listen, you can really decipher what's really real, where they really at. You can, you can feel their energy. You could decide. Well, I could decide, and then later on, we both figure out, okay, no, this don't seem right, but maybe let's ask ask additional questions. There's like I said, one particular brand. We love the product. We love the product and everything. But then once we started finding out a little bit more, like where they were at financially, they were literally broke.
Wow.
And even if they were broke, okay, fine. We had to make a decision if we really wanted to still work with them. But then you want the help, but then you're not willing to do the thing.
Do the work.
To get the help. So then we was like, you know what, this is a headache, because we really don't have time for that. So we're not going to just cut a check and then give you, knowing that you're not ready for this, right?
For sure.
You want to bring product here, you want to do this, you want to do that, but you don't have enough money to even do your day-to-day operation. But if we're telling you or advising you what to do in order to get money, or to at least be prepared, because right now, you pretty much kind of lied to us and told us, you had this and you had that. But then when they saw that we were really doing our due diligence, we come to realize that they didn't really have, or wasn't even prepared for where they said they was. So once you start lying, of course, that's like,
Yeah, well, you're going to be talking to these people, hopefully for years and years to come. The last thing you want is somebody you can't even communicate honestly with.
Absolutely, yeah.
I would have rather them just came out straight from the get-go and say, listen, we encountered some financial difficulties. This is what's going on. We have the potential. This is our portfolio. This is what's happening. Fine, let us make that decision.
Yeah.
But then we had to go through and utilize resources to do a deeper dive and realize that what they were saying wasn't really accurate. So then we was like, So we just said, respectfully, we had no investors.
Basically, when it comes to Triple S, like, don't waste our time. We're not going to waste your time. Don't waste our time.
Does it take some time? Like, does it take like a month, 2 months? How long do you spend doing due diligence before you really decide? Like, is it a bunch of meetings? Is it a few?
If we're going to work with the client? Well, it depends, right? Right out the gate, if everything matches up, like everything is just on point, you're checking all the boxes, then it could be a go-ahead.
Gotcha.
But that also depends on the investors as well, because we also have to go into the network and see if there's interest there. Because even though we think your idea is fire, right? Doesn't necessarily mean there's going to be investors who are also interested as well.
Gotcha.
But this is where Triple S comes in and makes sure that it looks amazing, so that there are these investors, our network, that are going to tap in and want to like work with you.
Go ahead, girl.
I mean, you know what we do. You already know. You already know. You know what I'm saying?
We have our little thing when we talk, we don't say nothing. But we're proud of each other. Yeah,
That's what they said. They were like, they can't share everything. I didn't even understand what the fuck y'all was doing. So what are you guys working on now? Because you said you're working on personal projects also.
Oh yeah. So
what are those about, and how is getting organized? How is getting organized add into that?
I can't believe I'm sharing this because it's been something that's been so. Okay. So okay. So this is kind of major announcement on Mike's meetings.
Hey,
you got the horns. Okay. Wait, can I hear this one is playing?
Okay, so I have no headphones, so I'm the
It's mad funny.
I'm the outside.
So
you're working on something big, Jen.
Yeah, for real. And it's life-changing in so many ways. So about 5 years ago is when this was done. I've always been a writer my entire life. Even when I was at Hot 97, right? You know, I did the blogging shit. Like I just been, that's just what I do.
Did everything there.
Okay. You know, real talk. Yeah.
She was on air. And then after on air, she was
digital
shooting video.
shit,
And then after that, she's writing. And then she was sleeping on the couch for an hour and going right back to on air.
You already know. It was a hustle. It was a grind for sure. But like, since I was a kid, I always wrote. Like, I remember the first story I ever wrote was like I was 9 years old. I wrote back and front on loose leaf paper, a 400-page story, just like boom, boom, boom. I was just a writer. I just love writing. That's all to say that like about 5 years ago, I started venturing into like screenwriting.
Wow.
And so
let me find out.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna find out. Trust. I mean, the time is now. That's why I'm sharing this. And so I wrote this amazing script along with a co-writer, and banged it out. Here's the thing you know about screenwriting. Some people take up to like a year to write a script. Some people take about 2 years. Some people take, less than that. It takes a long time to write scripts, believe it or not. I had to learn this because this is a new world I'm venturing into, but it's a world that I always knew I was supposed to be a part of. Like, just real fast. I was going to go to Hofstra University for like broadcasting television. That was my dream, right? I'd also go to St. John's, but because of financial situations, also personal situations, don't ever let personal situations fuck up your dreams. You know what I mean? Always go for yours. This is a big lesson I've learned now in life as I'm older. But so TV and film and all that was always in my trajectory. Somehow I end up in radio first. That's God. That's just the way my life has ended up.
Yeah,
right?
It'll choose you.
Yeah, but now I'm where I'm meant to be. So now. So going back to screenwriting, the 2-3 years to write a script or whatever, literally wrote that shit in like fucking 2 months.
Oh man, you locked in.
No, yeah, that was straight divine intervention right there. That was me channeling what needed to be written. It was just being written. And so I'm just blessed that it came out so easily for me. Like it was just pouring out of me. And so it went through its steps. Landed in a lot of amazing places, and now it's being reworked again, and now it's actually in a great space. This film was not only life-changing because I wrote it, but also because it saved my life in many ways, mentally. It was very like a big outlet for me to just pour myself out in many ways. So for that to be said now, we are full steam ahead.
Hey.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And we're actually looking to work with some amazing people. And we are actually looking right now for a female production company.
Okay.
All right.
Bang, bang.
To take on this film with us. Because we as women, we spoke about like the adversity we dealt with, obviously with racism and also just with our genders, right? As a woman, because we've experienced this, sitting in meetings and shit, we have to jump through like 15 hoops to finally get like an okay before we get a yes. Versus like a man, no shade, it might be a little faster. It takes them a little faster, but that's just what that's what we've experienced. You know what I'm saying? And we know a lot of women out there are experiencing the same thing. So now it's like for this marginalized group of people, genders, right? We want to create a situation where we all can come together and create this amazing film or TV show. It's being chopped in many different ways right now and make it happen. So right now we're looking for a very incredibly amazing women production team who would like to take this on, would like to work with us because we have a lot of high-level people behind us. This is not no rinky-dink, no shade, independent film. This is some real deal shit.
It's
and
production.
I'm blessed and blessed and grateful.
Some heavy hitters behind it.
Yes.
We have some A-list actors. I'm not trying to say anything yet, but we have some A-list actors, some really great resources behind it. So, sometimes you see some film and they look very, with all due respect, maybe low budget as far as production. We are already organizing to put a extensive amount of money definitely into this production, only because of the content. It's a very much needed content. It's a real life situation, with a little fictional in between. Can I say that at least?
Yeah, you can say that.
I'm trying to talk without saying too much.
Yeah.
Am I doing good?
Yeah, you're doing great. You're
I'm
doing
doing excellent. Very
fantastic.
nice. And I feel like because now,
This ain't her first podcast.
this is my first podcast.
That's cap. I got sold.
You see how I have to put the mic down? I have to move up a little bit, keep my posture. I don't even know which camera I'm looking at. I'm like, I hope you get my good side, but we're very excited about this. And I feel like
there's a lot of blood. I'm sorry to cut you off. There's just a lot of blood, sweat, and tears put into this, as of any project, right? But for this one in particular, just between her and I and just everything, it's very much, it's more than just a film. This is very much a life, a reflection of our lives. Not pertaining specifically in the story, maybe it's more so for me, but just how important it was as being a part of our just journey. You know what I'm saying? As people.
It's dope because I've seen like stuff that you've worked on before, like the shorter films or video content for Hot. Yeah. And I feel like it's always to such a high level, even without, like, I know firsthand at Hot, you did not have the resources to do the videos that you was putting out. And you always figured it out. So I can't imagine now seeing y'all come together, getting the funding right, getting the production quality right, partnering with people like in a genuine way that you vibe with. I think it's going to be something amazing. I mean, I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, it is.
I got a Netflix subscription. I pay every month.
Listen. You know what I mean? It's one of those stories. It's very much a what do you call that when it's what's the phrase for certain films that tells like a life story? I forget the phrase. Whatever that is, like that's what this film or show is about. And again, it integrates lots of parts of me and my childhood growing up, but also just again, true life stories of things that happened in New York City. And what can I tell a little more about that?
Yeah, I think you should. I'm waiting for you.
Can I?
I'm just trying to.
I don't know.
You could say a little bit, like you could say it's action. You can say, maybe what is the lines of in between.
I didn't sign any NDAs, so this is going out there.
I don't have to say the name, but you can give like maybe.
Yeah,
it's not a love story.
It's not a love story. Okay, so and actually we copywritten too, so we're actually fucking good to go. Yeah. It's a story about. I think I mentioned about perseverance, but sure is a story about perseverance, right? About America not giving you the means and you having to make the means your own self. So when people watch the show or watch this film, I hope they take that away because there is a lot of crime in it. There's a lot of like action, but this is just real life events that have happened, mixed in with fictional shit. But a balance of both, absolutely.
But give. I don't want to say, but what's the movie that's out there?
All right. It's like
come on, give it to them.
Okay, it's like I'm gonna just drop one of my favorite films. I think my favorite film of all time. It's like The Godfather.
That's what I was trying to get to.
meets like The Wire / Snowfall mixed in with like Peaky Blinders.
Oh my gosh.
So I know that's a lot going on in the pot, but then this is being written by a woman. So
well, and you said you don't know if it's going to be a movie or if it's going to be a TV show.
The reason why is because we have so much interest that it could go either way.
Gotcha. Yeah. Does that change how you have to write it?
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely. Because initially the script was written as a film.
Okay.
So now I'd have to go back to the drawing board and write it out as episodes. But initially, when we pitched the idea, I wrote this to S one random email one day 5 years ago. I initially had it as a TV show. Because I just honestly feel like TV shows is where these types of stories live on forever. In certain films, when it comes to movies and shit, people can watch it, but then it will get forgotten unless you kind of catch it again. People live through TV shows, right? And you kind of get yourselves more attached to these characters in the storyline when you watch episode per episode, right? So
it sounds like there's going to be a lot of themes it's covering too. Like for a movie, I almost want it as a TV show to get an idea of
what I told you. There's so many story arches to it.
It's funny you say that because we're leaning towards that.
Yeah, I feel like, just in knowing Jen too and all the different things she could put in there, I feel like
trust.
A movie is going to be a 5-hour movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like,
we cut it down knowing how Jen is.
Yo, it was getting far, bro. It was getting far. My script, the script was fucking damn near 400, 500 pages. We had to shave it down.
Then this weekend at the Jets game.
I heard that.
I know Jen's at the Jets game.
Yeah. So it's a very exciting time. This is the second phase of my life, the second phase of my career that I'm excited to embark on. This is that's my calling. This is where I'm meant to be. I know this is where I'm going to be, where I want to finish the rest of my career. Yeah. And it's just exciting that Essence, because it also shouts out to fucking Essence, because she put the battery in my back. It's so important. She mentioned earlier about having a great support system. It's hard to find people who truly believe in you without having ulterior motives or not wanting you to succeed beyond them. You know what I mean? There's people that's been like, yeah, you could do it. But then deep down inside, they're like, I don't want you to do more than me.
Just do it for me.
or don't go further than me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Let me give you a joke quickly before, I was asking Jen, I said, Jen, you ever did acting before? You ever did TV and film industry? She's like, oh, no, a little bit. I'm like, no. I said, okay, well, we need to get you in there. I said, let's do what is it called?
A monologue. Trashed it.
Listen,
terrible.
No.
My ass is just...
Can I share this? Because she was half-stepping. It seemed like she didn't know anything about the entertainment industry, the TV and film. I was like, okay. So it's like, well, let's try this. She did it. I'm like, okay, let's try it again.
She said, hang on, let me cue the tears.
Yeah, I was like, okay, let's try this again. Come to find out, this lady over here already did an animation, already did something about her family, already know how to write, already know how to edit, already know how to direct, already know how to do voiceovers. I'm like, Jen, what the hell was this then you was doing? She's like, well, I didn't really want to. I said, okay.
Nah, but I'll say this on Jen's behalf. Working where we worked at, there was a lot of times where it's like, that's not good enough. That's not I never really felt I didn't realize how much skills I had until after the fact. And I'm like, damn, I actually know more than the average, because it's never enough. And I think there's something too to again, when you're working really hard, you don't really realize what you're picking up along the way. And it's until you kind of fall back, drop the stuff you're not using and start working smart, that you could really see where the skills were picked up and what's necessary.
Absolutely. And then again, having a great supportive person behind you to pull that out of you too. You know what I'm saying? Someone to guide you to say
that's
you can.
What I'm saying. I've seen you do all of these things over years and years in bits and pieces, and put it together for yourself, put it together for somebody else. But it's really hard when you don't have that outside perspective to kind of be like, you know what, I see all the pieces. Here's what we got to do.
Right. And now we're in a great place where now this is all coming to life. Yeah.
Excellent.
So
amazing.
That's
all I can say. I thank God. I thank the universe. I thank the ancestors. I thank everything that has fallen into place. I'm grateful for meeting you. My first time meeting you for this podcast, but it's not going to be the last. I already know just by meeting you, and this is how I feel. I get goosebumps. I already know that we're going to be doing some amazing things.
Oh man,
definitely part of this journey.
Yeah.
Because that's what we look for. Really great partnerships. I look for people who support us, and not while we're already there, or even when we're already there, but people who give genuine support and respect.
Yes.
Because these are the people that you want to work with. These are the people that you want to build, stick your hand out. Put your hand out, right? You see one hand, right? One hand can't clap. Stick that hand out. One hand.
Bah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
Noise.
So that's what it's really about.
Nah, it's true.
So we've we went through it.
Let me tell you,
know better.
Absolutely.
So now we have a better sense of discernment.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. Who we don't want to work
Hell
with.
Yeah.
And,
Hell yeah.
That's it.
Hell yeah.
So
with this project, I'm still returning back to my roots of music too with it. Mm-hmm. So I'm definitely going to tap into my peoples in the music industry because because it's obviously you're going to need some scoring and music and music for the project. So I'm definitely going to start leading on stuff like that. So
if you need a white random podcaster in the background at any of them, or you need a guy eating ice cream cone,
we're going to talk.
Random white guy standing behind you while you walk down the street.
I'll
stand there with ice
Don't worry,
cone.
Mike, well, we gonna talk. We gonna talk. Don't worry.
Off the ear. Remember I tell you.
We gonna talk. We gonna talk.
You
But let
already
me
know
tell
what's
you
about to
something.
happen.
I already know the stories of people who've been, shut down or like not given opportunities or like just shaded, even though they're like fucking amazing. And those are people that I know and I keep in the back of my mind that's close to me that I want to put on in many ways. So when this goes down, I'm definitely already thinking of everyone. So, yeah.
Well, nah, it's amazing.
I feel like the most important thing that I just want to tell everyone, not just women, but everybody, be true to yourself.
Yes.
Be yourself.
Yes.
Surround yourself around people who are not just yes sir, no sir. People who are not going to allow you to be lazy on your blessings.
How Shay?
Thank you. Because you saw I felt that because a lot of the times I could see a person's potential, or people could see a person's potential. And if they're envious and jealous of you, they're not going to push you because they always want you to be underneath them.
Yeah, they'll exploit it.
Right. They don't want to see you grow.
Yep.
We know a little something about that.
Yeah. So if you're around people that don't want to see you grow, that's not the right circle for you.
Yeah.
You want to be around people, like for me, if you say, hey, Miss Essence, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm going to be like, okay, what do you need? That's just me. Right? Don't have to want anything from it. A lot of the times I'm very resourceful. So I have back pocket blessings, meaning that blessings to get in the back pocket. Hey, I need this. People will come out because a lot of the times I bless people without looking for anything. And then you'd be surprised when you plant seeds and it grows, their fruits develop and then they come back. I'm like, oh, Miss Essence, remember you did this and you did that. And I'm like, okay, well, what could I do? Now I'm doing this. I want you to be part of that. And that's pretty much what's happening. Like with Jen. Jen has been a blessing to so many people. And I've seen that people are really showing her, how much she is an influence in the in the radio industry, in the digital industry. Like I'm looking at people, oh my God, you remember when you did this and when you did that? And I look at her face and she's like, wow. And they kind of piggyback on what you were saying. Sometimes when you're in an atmosphere where people don't appreciate your worth and your value, it's kind of hard for you to see your value.
Yeah, you don't see it.
Until you step out of that toxic environment. And then you start doing your thing and you're like, wow, they really saw that? They really did this? Even though I would tell her, it's also good that she would see other peers or other people saying that.
Yeah.
And all that is just fuel for the fire. All that is just gas in the engine to keep going. So I feel like it's not where you're from, it's where you're at. It doesn't matter what happened in the past. If you had a downfall, if you fell down, get back up. The reason why it took us to where we're at now is because we believed in ourselves. We knew our value. We knew our worth. We knew our strengths. We had to create the platform. We had to look and see what's working, what's not working. We had to gain these partnerships, not just with investors, but companies, also with CEOs like yourself. And we're building an empire. And an empire, you have multiple people. And we're just very selective of who we want to be part of that empire. Because when you're dealing with the magnitude of this type of money, these type of opportunities, I work hard for my name, my reputation. I work hard to maintain that. So I'm a firm believer in sharing the blessings, but I also learn I have to know who to share the blessings with. So, Triple SSS Entertainment LLC is
absolutely. And
that's amazing.
Just to wrap up what you said too, in terms of like, if you can leave them people with one bit of advice, just be true to yourself. Like, absolutely, don't ever change who you are as you're going down this journey. Don't compromise your beliefs. Don't compromise your standards. Like, stay true to what you believe and how you feel. Yeah, that's a longer process. It might take you longer to get to where you need to, but at least in the end, you'll be happier and more fulfilled when it happens.
That's what I was going to tag on that is like, trust the timing of your life. Absolutely. Like in all of it,
Absolutely.
Be genuine and trust the timing of your life. It might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but if you keep chipping away, plant those seeds, they're going to grow.
Absolutely. Thank you. Absolutely. And if anything, if this story, what's about to come for us, what we're working on, if this shows anything for anyone who's been following me for so long, since I started as a fucking intern in the business, like, because they still follow me and shit. And shouts out to by the way, shouts out to anyone who's ever had anything kind and sweet and anything nice to say to me because I'm always I'm humbled by it. I do not take that shit fucking lightly ever. All the DMs, all the like, even in person situations when people come up to me randomly, like I honor that and I receive it and I thank you, like for real. And hopefully my story and what I'm about to do in the second phase of my life, you know, that'll just inspire more folks to be like, you know what, this isn't the end of the road for you. Yeah, you know, I'm no longer at Hot 97, right? That's where I grew up at, right? For like 12 years of my life. But guess what? That doesn't end there. Your story doesn't have to end there. Because look what's about to fucking happen in the second motherfucking phase of my life.
and I don't know. I feel like again, you got to trust the timing. And there was a time and a place for that, everything. You know. But the future is bright.
All day, every day. I'm very.
Yes. Well, how do they keep up with you guys, and where can they find everything that's to come, or they got to just sit tight?
No, they could go to the website and the website.
Go to Triple SSS Entertainment, 3 S's, Triple SSS Entertainment.com. You can get all the information there if you want. If you have some projects or some things you want to bring our way, definitely we are looking for a female production company. Obviously, at the high level that we're catering this project to. So definitely, if there's some of you out there, ladies, who feel like you fit the bill, would love to start circling around that and talk to people. You can DM me, hit me at Life of a Genius on Instagram or Jen from BK on Twitter. We can start that conversation. But other than that, I mean, you know, check us in the in the articles, in the screens, in the, you know, chart and, you know, freaking choppers and shots.
See, I let her do all of that good stuff.
You're gonna see us. No, you're gonna see us. No, but we joke, but we're crazy humble and like we're grateful and we're just ready to go.
Nah, I appreciate y'all coming through for real.
No, thank you, Mike. Seriously.
You know, a woman always remember her first.
Hey. I got you. I got a story for you too. We're gonna talk more. It's not gonna be the last time we see each other.
Right. Yes.
So I want to say, first of all, thank you to you.
Yes.
You know, having us here, you know.
Yes. Thank you.
Anytime. Y'all always welcome.
At Mike meetings, you know. It's really amazing. You know? So I'm just very excited about all the great things that are happening. And things that are to come. So
you for sure.
Here to share the blessings at Triple Entertainment.
Basically, yeah.
And that's it.
And that's it. And remember, don't ever give up. That's it.
Straight up. No, I appreciate y'all for real. A lot of what I'm doing with this show is rooted in that same mentality of just being genuine and just putting it out there.
Yeah.
Not cutting it up for anybody, but just doing it for you and for the people. So I love to see y'all motivating me. And I look forward to the next one and the next one and the next one where I get more information about this show. I'm very curious now. I'm sold.
What I told you.
Oh my gosh.
You're going to love it. I just know it. I know the people's going to love it. I mean, I hope it's received well. I'm just going to pray that it's received well, but we already know.
We're not going to hope. No, it is.
It's going to be great.
It is,
but
because it's,
put a lot of love into this, and that's for real. Like, you get really attached when you start working on something so, like, personal to you. So, yeah. It's going to be hot. It's going to be hot.
This is Mike Meetings, y'all. Triple S Entertainment in the building. Thank y'all again. Until next time.